Ladies and gentlemen, this lady has launched 30 plus rural renewable energy startups with a 70% sustainability rate. She has created mentorship networks for youth entrepreneurs. She has trained young people into meaningful job opportunities. She also serves as a voice for rights and eco change ambassador, leveraging youth innovation to address global challenges across continents. When she's not mentoring or speaking, like today, she enjoys traveling, dancing, and creating memorable outdoor experiences with the creatives and change makers. Before I break that name, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce myself. My name is James Asava. I work with Majestic Brands as head of brand and communication. If you don't know, or if you are hearing Majestic Brands for the first time, Majestic Brands is a brand of the Buganda Kingdom that is responsible for bridging the market between the kingdom and the would-be partners or sponsors. We sell the brand of Buganda to our sponsors, to our partners, or to the general public. We are the commercial arm of the Buganda Kingdom. What does this mean in a simple way? If you want to transact commercially with the Buganda Kingdom, you will have to deal with Majestic Brands. I'm also the membership director of the Uganda Marketer Society, a body that brings together all practicing marketing professionals and salespeople in Uganda. I am responsible for recruiting, engaging members, and most importantly, making sure that our society grows in numbers. With that introduction, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you our guest today, Nicole Letaru. You can show those virtual handicrafts before she actually picks the microphone, and we start our session. Nicole, do you have the mic right now? Good evening to you.
Yes, good evening. Hello, James. Hi, everyone here. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. I'm honored.
The floor is yours. You can dance as you want because I actually saw that you are a dancer.
I wish. But thank you. I'm already actually dancing wherever I am. So I truly appreciate it.
Okay. Today we talk on a wonderful session that I said you are the best candidate for this session. I want to just briefly talk about the session, and then you will have the dance floor, I think, for the most of the time. Many people dream of working for international companies and or getting jobs abroad, but very few people know where to start or how to stand out. Sometimes, even when you have the right qualifications, your CV can be ignored, or you actually never get called for maybe interviews for that international opportunity. But today, with more remote jobs and global platforms that are hiring people from different countries, I actually read some report recently that Kenyans are actually topping in terms of earnings, that in terms of remote jobs that they are doing globally. And what does this mean? With the availability of global opportunities, it means everyone has a chance to compete for international roles. But it is not just about applying, it's about positioning. How you present yourself, build your personal brand, connect with global professionals, and show employers that you are ready to add value across cultures and borders. I will have to share this example of one of my friends who is a software developer. Not like the colleagues in their class. She started sharing her work on LinkedIn, writing some insightful content, contributing to open source projects. Guess what? A year later, she got a remote job with the company in Germany without even applying formally. But they liked what she was doing on LinkedIn and what she was sharing. She didn't need to travel to Germany to get this job. She actually works from here. Like a normal person, maybe the only difference is the time zone. But she works normally and she doesn't need to travel to Germany. Dear listeners, today's conversation is about learning practical tips on how to make your skills and experience visible to international employers and increase your chances of getting hired beyond borders. Our session today to bring out the content that we feel you need to get and understand, it will be more of a Q&A to our guest. I will not setting, of course. I will just pose the question and she will give us the best context that she feels can help us understand and navigate through this subject. My first question to you, Nicole, what does it actually mean to position yourself for international jobs, and why is it important?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. It's a broad one and it's quite heavy, but I think from my own experience, you see, those days, like a lot of the times we've had so many people talk about positioning yourself. How do you align yourself in the job market? How exactly do you stand out? So many people always talk about, yeah, you need to position yourself, you need to stand out, and things of that sort. But nobody really goes ahead to explain how exactly do you do it. And for me, honestly, that was also what happened to me. I had to kind of figure out some of these things on my own because even when I was doing them back then without them making sense, right now, as I now look at my journey, I now see where the sense has come in or where the sense comes from. So basically, positioning yourself, one of the things that I would mention is, first of all, whether you have international experience or not, I feel like one shouldn't be confined to only thinking that, okay, because I mean, I need to have international experience for me to get opportunities abroad, maybe if that is your goal. Even without you having any international experience abroad, you still can be able to get opportunities. And I remember, I think one of my first opportunity actually started way back when I was still at the university. I traveled to Tanzania. And that was for a conference because I was part of a youth-led organization um, as a leader. And so this organization is still running up to date. And it's one of the organizations that have mentored me so much and shaping me into what I am today. Because through that organization alone, I think I've been able to travel to like 6 or 7 countries through them. So it's called ISEC. And this organization, of course, offers opportunities on their website, whether it's remote or on site. And most of them, of course, are more on site, which will require you to travel to that country. They don't pay for your ticket, but some of the companies, when you get them, they will obviously pay your accommodation, meals, and your salary that you're supposed to be earning every month. So it started from way back in while I was still at the university, and as I kept progressing, I kept pushing, and somehow somewhere I ended up finding myself moving to different countries since then. So I think one of the advices that I would give is look at what you have right now. If you're still at the university, for example, utilize your leadership experience. Be active in things like debates, in those leadership activities that normally happen at school, because that's where you begin to build your experience in. If you're out of the university now, the mid-career professionals, maybe 5 years and above, I would say begin to focus on, first of all, updating your LinkedIn profile in case if you're someone who is not active on LinkedIn. Update your LinkedIn profile and become very, very intentional with it. What do I mean by intentionality? Intentionality does not only mean you working on your profile and then you abandon it. No. When you want something, you spend a lot of time there. So you can begin to reach out to recruiters, reach out to people that maybe are working in organizations you'd love to work in. Find out from them how is life, maybe what is the work life culture in your organization. Do you mind if we can have a virtual coffee chat, or we can have a meetup, so that way you begin to get insights and knowledge in that organization, because that information will help you later on to craft your application better. One mistake that I refrain a lot of people from making is, do not just make the mistake of coming to an online platform like LinkedIn and then you start crying for jobs, or you start, coming into people's DMs and crying for jobs, because I've received a lot of that. And honestly, it doesn't help you to be able to stand out. It doesn't position you to stand out, because in the international market, they believe more in seeing and not just talking. So rather than you wasting that time talking, prove it more in your actions. Do, and you'll find as time goes by, they will start coming to you. Offline, position yourself by start volunteering. There are so many volunteer organizations these days that are there, both local and international, that can give you experience of what it means to work with an international team, even if you've not traveled abroad. So when you begin to work with these organizations, you're already tapping into the international market. You're already making yourself global ready. And so by that time now, those other bigger opportunities begin to come. They don't just find you empty, but at least they already find you setting some foundations already. So that's the best way I would advise anyone when it comes to positioning yourself in the job market. Yeah.
Wow. Something that you say that hit hard. You said don't just make the mistake of coming to LinkedIn and cry for jobs. I actually thought, since we are here to position ourselves, LinkedIn can be a place that we can come and cry, but it's not a good idea. Something to learn.
It's not.
Thank you so much. And that takes us to the next question. You actually hinted, it's like you had an idea of what is next actually. What are some of the common mistakes people make when applying for jobs outside their home country?
That's a very good question. I actually love that question so much, because from my experience, I think one of the mistakes that a lot of people make, first of all, when it comes to applying for jobs, is using a general CV. Your CV is all over the place. This morning, I was having a call with one of my clients, and he's having over 20 years of experience in site engineering. And the CV that he was having was so compressed, because it's having the entire experience from all the way from 2025 to 1999. And I was trying to explain to him, but now all this information is too much. Like, what do you need all this information for? And I kept telling him, some of it you have to remove it. And he was like, but now if I remove it, doesn't it mean now I'm going to end up having one page? What, like, isn't my experience not going to disappear? But now, from some of my experiences, I've learned that even someone with, let's say, for example, 5 years of experience can end up getting a job over you with 20 years of experience and you're both competing for the same job. Why? It's because you're sending a general CV. A lot of the times candidates make mistakes of thinking that when I send my CV with my whole years of experience from the time I was born, then it means I'm the most qualified person. But you forget that the job is not looking for the most qualified person. They're looking for that person who can come in to solve their pain point. Are you the one? So if I'm looking, let's say maybe I'm hiring for, let's say, for example, someone who deals with CCTV cameras. I do not expect to see a CV that is having IT, that is having maybe software development, that is having probably other skills like Python, Java, because all those are not related to CCTV. So it means you've not spoken my language. So why should I choose you over someone else who is actually speaking my language and mentioning the actual skills that I need to solve my pain point related to CCTV cameras? So that's one of the mistakes a lot of people make. They use general CVs. The other mistake that I see also so many people making, especially when you're trying to compete both locally and globally, is do not rely on one CV format. I have usually what we call a universal CV. Like that universal CV is where you can dump your whole entire years of experience. But then when it comes to now you applying for some of these jobs, use that universal CV for you to only pick those opportunities that are relevant to that job and then use that, tailor make it to that. Do not make a mistake of using fonts or formats that do not apply for the market that you're applying to. For example, if you're applying, let's say maybe to markets, international markets like Europe, most European countries like Netherlands, Denmark, Germany, Italy, France, they'll want a CV version with a photo. So if you're sending with this other type that does not have a photo, chances are high you may be rejected. Why? Because they want to know who is this person behind this CV. So if they do not see that face, you're most likely going to be rejected. Whereas if you're applying to jobs, for jobs in markets like the US, UK, Canada, the most preferred common type of CV formats or CV templates are CVs without photos. Why? Because the moment you submit with, a CV that has got a photo to those markets, they are most likely to reject you because there's a lot of biasness that happens in recruitment. Maybe I might be looking for a brown person, and then when I see your face and it's a dark one, I may end up rejecting you, even if you have the experience. So there's a lot of biasness because of the photo. So for those markets, I always tell people, don't use a format that has got a photograph. If you're applying to sectors like the UN, even here in Uganda also, still use that type that does not really require a photo because it's your experience that is now going to sell you more. I think also the other mistake that I can pinpoint is when it also comes to, for example, you applying for jobs. A lot of the times I see this so common, especially in Ugandan CVs. Why I say Ugandan CVs, because there's a way I've reviewed so many CVs, and whenever I see them coming in, I can always tell this CV is from a Ugandan, this one is from a Kenyan, the other one is maybe British because of those different versions. So one common aspect that I've seen in a lot of Ugandan CVs, people waste a lot of space putting in irrelevant information, address, date of birth, maybe married. There's another one even who had put for me, married with 14 children. I said, who needs to know that you have all these children? Like, that's a red flag at the end of the day, because now even before the employer, they'll be like, this one might not manage our job, because at the end of the day, this person is going to keep giving us excuses. I have to take care of my family responsibilities and all of that. So some of those things work against you. Location is also another mistake people make. Some people always like to put their address. We are living in a digital era. Why would you want to expose your address like that. It's very risky. And besides also exposing it, it's also another chance for you to get rejected. Because let's say, for example, you're applying to a job maybe based in the US. The moment you put Uganda, it means you're not the right fit, even if you have the qualifications. Why? Because they're not looking for people based in Uganda, they are looking for the US. So you're throwing the wrong CV in the wrong place. You're obviously going to be rejected. And even I think the other thing also related to location is when you maybe want to apply for jobs abroad, focus on jobs that have got visa sponsorship if you want to move abroad, because visa sponsorship means the employer is going to sponsor you to relocate to that country. So anywhere where you don't see visa sponsorship or remote worldwide, meaning that they can accept you to work online remotely without you necessarily moving to that country, don't waste your time applying there, because even if you have the requirements, you may be the most fit, but you've not also followed the location requirements. So chances are high you'll still be rejected. So those are some of the common mistakes I can highlight.
Wow, wow. Ha. And for that reason, because it is getting hotter and hotter, ladies and gentlemen, I know you already have burning questions. Don't take any more minutes. If you have that question, keep them coming. She'll have a session for those questions. But so far I've noted very many things. Looks like I have made a number of mistakes, and I want to take this opportunity on this session to say I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry, but I think this is why we have such sessions, and for us to run and become better people. And I want to believe that at the end of this call, many of us are going to run and edit their CVs, if not some of them are doing it right now. The next question, you have highlighted what it means to position yourself. You gave us some of the mistakes that you actually do that when applying for international jobs. And at this point, I would like you to share your personal journey or story. Maybe it can be of someone who successfully landed an international job opportunity and what made a difference. You know, we want to now understand that we can, maybe we may be here and I listen to a lecture maybe. So let's get that practical touch. Over to you, Nicole.
Okay, thank you. I think for me, my personal journey in terms of being able to stand out in the market, get all these different opportunities. Number one, I've had to push myself like for the longest without waiting for someone to come in and push me. Because I remember back those days when I was trying to figure out after completing campus, after completing the university, I was like, now here, where do I begin from? Where do I begin from? But I started making the mistake of applying using all the different wrong CV formats right from the time when I was still at the university, because I started applying for jobs even before me finishing school. So by the time I completed my first job opportunity was in Bali. It was actually a volunteer opportunity. And it was, I think, for 2 months. So I got it even before my graduation. And there we were actually being paired with a team from the UK. And that was where I experienced like my very first international touch experience here in Uganda. But before that, I was actually not someone who grew up from here. Personally, I've been born, raised in Kenya, and living in Kenya was a different lifestyle. It was so different in terms of I couldn't even speak English. I didn't know how to express myself in English. And I just came to learn English from here when we moved here with my family. But then one of the things that I always wanted, and I remember that time when my mom was she got a job. She had actually traveled abroad to the US, and I was still very young that time. I told myself, God, if my mom can board a plane, I must also. I must also. But I said that when I was still young, naive, I didn't know what it means. But now I've actually seen it come to happen in my life more than once. So meaning that whatever it is that you want to achieve, you can actually be able to achieve it. And I think the biggest advice I would give is just start becoming intentional. Be very clear, align your goals. What exactly do you want to achieve? Because for me, one of my goals, even when I was growing up, I always told myself, you know what? I don't want to limit myself in the confines of only my country. I want to be able to cut those borders and actually move beyond where I stay so that way I can get to experience life also from a different angle, see how people live their lives in so many other different countries. And even during that time when I was making all those mistakes in my CV, I was getting so many rejections. I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have a coach, I didn't have anyone to give me that support. And now it was because of that that it built my curiousness to push myself further and say, you know what? I need to break into this market. So the moment I finished my contract in Bali, the next one was in Kenya. From Kenya, I moved to India. I moved to India twice. The first time I was working for a marketing organization. Later, I came back to Uganda around 2020. I got another job. This was now where my HR career actually started in India for the second time. And now when I went to India now for the second time to work with Tata Consultancy Services, that was now where I got exposed on the behind the scenes of recruitment in terms of how recruitment works. Because in a day, I used to handle over 5,000 candidates. And sometimes we used to even have like, you post a job right now, within 24 hours, you find the job is already having 10,000 applicants. So now having to deal with those huge, huge volumes, I started now to realize that even as I look at other people's CVs, these are some of the mistakes that even me, I was making in my own journey without anyone telling me how to maneuver these things. I started seeing it on some of these other people's CVs. So some of them now I started going the extra mile to actually give them support. And I would advise them, you know what, do this, do that, tailor your CV like this. And before I knew it, they would end up getting the opportunity. And then when I came back, when my contract got done, I didn't see myself going back to, working again as an HR because I wanted to to explore another different organization, like a different industry. And then it's funny, by the time I came back here in Uganda, I think that was now during lockdown time, 2022 or 2023, around there. Just 3 months of my coming back home, I got an offer with Trigid Technologies here in Uganda. They got so impressed about my Indian experience because it's an Indian organization, and that's where they hired me as a recruiter to now work on behalf of UN. So again, even entering now UN, experiencing UN recruitment system again was another whole different ball game. And slowly by slowly, I just started finding even outside my job, people would come to me, oh, please help us to get jobs. How do we do this? How do we move abroad? So that's where my journey came from. And as I've been doing it now for quite some time, I think one of my most outstanding stories, I think that always even touches me, was one client of mine that I worked with last year. He's a Nigerian based in the UK. He reached out to me from LinkedIn and he was like, by the way, I've been checking out your profile, and I got to actually connect with you from one video that I saw you got interviewed by another Nigerian based in the UK. So I got curious and I was like, let me reach out to you. Maybe you might be the one that I might want to work with. So I was like, okay. So he shared with me his pain point and he told me he was at the final year of him completing his university, and he has been trying to apply for jobs in the UK, what, so that he can remain in the UK, work on his residence permit and remain, but he has been getting so many rejects and all of that. So because of now all this experience and my journey from way back up to now, I had to now like just translate that information and put it into practicals for him. We started working on his LinkedIn, his CV. I would review his jobs whenever he would apply, give him feedback, things of that sort. And within 1 month, he got a job with a charity organization in the UK. And since then, he has been able to work on, he got his visa, his residence permit, and up to now, he's now still in the UK. So yeah, once in a while, he still checks up on me. We connect once in a while whenever he has maybe advice he needs here and there, I come in handy for him. So it has been a journey. Like I've come from far, but I can say it's achievable for anyone who wants to move abroad, who wants to maybe work remotely. It's all possible. You can do it. It just starts with you. Become very intentional. Even if you don't have anyone to hold your hand, still look out for resources. We have a lot of resources out here these days on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and even still, you can still be able to approach someone as well to mentor you. Always look at someone who is maybe 1 or 2 steps ahead of you that you can learn from. Because for me personally, also, I got so inspired when I got to find out about Coach Samuel last year. I saw him from his TikTok page and I got so inspired and I was like, okay, I think this is someone I would also maybe want to learn a thing or two from. So yeah, try to work in front of the scenes and not behind the scenes so that way you're seen and you're noticed for what you do. Yeah.
This is a very wonderful session, and we can't thank you enough, Nicole. And for that reason, because everyone now is hot and very attentive, I'm going to use this opportunity to introduce to you what is TPC. TPC, you can simply call it Transformational Professionals Club. This space is designed for professionals seeking a sense of community, mutual support, and personal growth. Our mission is to connect, learn, grow, and earn. I think you can see this. We are learning and we are growing. I am an example of that growth. I joined TPC at the beginning of this year. I have known Samuel for some good time. He's always that man who is always pushing to innovate for something new, to connect and connect. That has been his calling for so long. And this year I said, you know what, I have to join. Because why? Why did I join? Because I've been intentional about my growth for so many years. And this space was one of those few spaces that I felt would be a good space for me to grow myself, to grow my career, position myself. And I can happily say that I am that living testimony on this space. And the reason why you can hear me bring to you, Nicole, is because of the opportunities that are available at TPC. Therefore, you can take that opportunity as well to come and join this club if you want to grow, if you want to learn, if you want to connect to professionals, different professionals with different backgrounds, people from marketing, people from accounting, people from finance, people from engineering, people from HR. It's just a pool of very many professionals. Therefore, if you get that opportunity, please use it well. It's part of positioning, by the way. And for that reason, I am going to, because we want to make sure that we digest this topic to the fullest, I am going to assume that Nicole has had some water now, and I would pose my next question and ask you, Nicole. You talked about LinkedIn profile. You talked about how it is a mistake to go on LinkedIn and cry for jobs, and other mistakes that we do. But I want to ask you, how important is a LinkedIn profile in the international job search? And what should someone improve right now, assuming they don't have a profile, or they have that data profile, or they have that profile that they use to check other people's posts? How should someone improve it right now?
Mhm. Thank you so much for that question. I think one of the things that I will start with is right now in today's digital market that we are in, LinkedIn is one of the most important platforms that anyone out there who is looking to get a job, advance their career needs to have. Because even these days, organizations are also on LinkedIn. So who are you not to be on LinkedIn, you know? So it's very, very important. And I think for someone who maybe does not have a LinkedIn profile right now, I would encourage you, go ahead and create one. Update, put your most recent photograph. Because again, I've also come across some LinkedIn profiles where there's one person he put a photo of him in the restaurant with so many people behind him. So the background was busy. And that was already a turnoff for the client because he was like, this one is not serious. Why should I hire him? So some of those things end up affecting your image or your brand on this other side of the world badly because LinkedIn is a global CV. Your other CV is just a paper CV that is being seen by you and the organization you're applying to. But now LinkedIn is a global CV that anyone from any part of the world can see. So how are you conducting yourself there? Update your about section, your work experience. When I talk about updating, even if you don't have that much experience, but you know what you want to achieve in your career, you know that direction you want to move, start by updating that. Mention for us your skills, the things that you've done in the past, your accomplishments, what you can bring to the table, and where you're looking at moving forward. Because again, companies don't want to deal with people who don't know what direction they want to move going forwards. So you need to bring out your profile in that angle. The other thing also that I will say concerning LinkedIn is that so sorry for that. LinkedIn is also another important tool in a sense that even when you're working on your CV, always ensure that if you've gotten maybe a new experience, maybe for example, you've even done a course or a certificate and you've received your certificate, update it on LinkedIn. Like anything big or small, update it there. Why? Because a lot of the times when these jobs are looking at your CV, they are going to want to come and check your LinkedIn profile to see, does the information align? So if again they are seeing maybe the information on LinkedIn is different from what is on the CV, that can be again another basis of rejecting you. I'll share a personal experience. There was a candidate one time that we recruited for the UN, and he had quite an amazing year of experience. Like his experience was very good. However, when the client went ahead and checked out his LinkedIn profile, he had last updated it, I think, in 2013. He last posted there in 2013. The profile was not active, and most of the information that was on his CV was not even reflecting on the LinkedIn profile. It was not updated. And just like that, the client changed his mind and said, no, he's not the one for me. I want you to reopen this job. We are going to re-advertise again. Let's cancel the contract. And I was like, what? He said, yes, I don't see any alignment. So these are two different people. This one probably might be impersonating because how can the CV be this good and it's not reflecting the same standard on LinkedIn. And just like that, his contract was rejected, so we could not onboard that candidate. So, and so these are some of the things really that people need to know. Take one of the other things that I also always tell people is, before you want a job to help you, first help them. Help them by doing the needful. Update your profile, update your CV, update your cover letter. Because even when it comes to those tools, some people, again, don't update them, maybe even with the correct dates. Some people put the month, they don't put the year. Others, the year, they don't put the month. How are you expecting the client to figure out for you in which duration you worked in this company? They're not going to think about that for you. So you have to ensure you've helped yourself first for them to come in and also help you, and you help them. So that's what I would say about LinkedIn.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nicole. I would also want to admit that I regret the time I made my LinkedIn profile inactive, because I think I wasted a lot of time. I think up to 2023, around April, when I decided to become intentional, I was on other platforms, X, where you waste time looking at current updates, you're looking at banter, throwing banter from here to there, and then ignoring LinkedIn until 2023. I think it was around April when I decided to become intentional about my LinkedIn profile. And I want to testify that in terms of my career from 2023 up to now, I want to believe and I feel this is evident that is the best part of my career. Why? I put myself out there for everyone to just look at me and, look at what people are sharing, learn from them, and that has helped me a lot. If you're on this call and you have a boring or dormant LinkedIn profile, I believe you made a very good choice for you to be on this call. Thank you so much, Nicole. And that takes us to our next question. You've said somewhere that you have to make sure that at least your CV is consistent with your LinkedIn profile. Why? You don't want to give that employer or that would be employer a gap to start questioning who is this person. On this CV is someone else, someone with much experience. On the LinkedIn profile, he is maybe at a starter level, And our next question, are CVs and cover letters different when applying for international jobs compared to local ones? Want to understand whether if you're going to maybe apply for international jobs, you have to find those international words specifically so that you can win that job. What are the key things to include?
Thank you for that question. So basically, CVs, cover letters are very, very important, both locally and internationally. Honestly, it cuts across. And personally, from my experience, I would say that one of the things that you need to keep in mind is that right now the world is so competitive, both local and international. So even when you're applying, whether you're applying for a job locally here in Uganda or you're applying abroad, come out strong right from the get-go. What do I mean by coming out strong? A lot of the times, so many people like downplaying themselves in their applications. You find the person has the experience, they have the potential, but the application is just not strong. But now, right now, in the day and era that we are in, you need to come out really strong on all those applications. Why? Because whether you're competing locally or internationally, remember, you're not the only person who wants that same job. There's someone else also across the border who is also competing for that same job. So what is going to make you stand out from them? Come out strong. Be very, very strong in your application. Go straight to the point and focus on your impacts, focus on your achievements, position your achievements more in terms of solutions for that company. This is just similar to the previous point that I'd mentioned in the beginning. Don't put all your other experiences that are not aligning to the job in the CV. No. Focus strictly on what the job is looking for. I always tell people, imagine yourself, you're for example, going to sit for an exam. You're in an examination room. You're going to be presented with two papers. One is the question paper, and the other is the answer sheet. So when we interpret that in the job market, it means your CV is your question paper, and your answer sheet is, I mean, the job description is your question paper, and then the CV is the answer sheet. So meaning your CV is supposed to answer questions from the job description. So meaning focus and speak only the language that that job is looking for. Tie all your experiences to relate to that. If you're applying for, let's say, a marketing job, and they're looking for someone with maybe experience in using different CRMs, focus specifically on that. Don't start mixing that experience again with other things related to maybe teaching that you've done in the past. Maybe you've done, I don't know, finance, consulting, because those are not going to speak the language of this job. So be very, very mindful on that. And then also, the other thing also that I would say is be very mindful about, right now we have AI, applicant tracking system softwares, which are being used right now, both globally and locally. So most of the times, a lot of these organizations are now adapting to technology in a sense that even when you apply for a job, chances are high before your job even reaches me, a recruiter, it's more likely to be rejected by that software if you have not done your due diligence on your applications. So how can you stand out? Use the keywords, the right keywords. And what do I mean by keywords? For example, if you're applying for a marketing job, and as I've said, they're looking for someone maybe with experience in using, I don't know which skill I can bring, but maybe let me just use the same CRM. Ensure that even as you put CRM in your skills section, go ahead and explain it in your work experience section, how exactly you've used CRM to solve problems in the past. Because again, a lot of people make the mistake of just leaving CRM only in the skills section and they don't explain it in the experience section. That means you're not the right fit. You copied and pasted the job description. So because of that, you'll also be rejected. Cover letters are equally important. And one thing that I'll also talk about cover letters is that cover letters, a lot of people make mistakes of repeating words or information that is on the CV to the cover letter. You're doing yourself a huge, huge disservice. Why? Cover letters are not meant for that. Cover letters are meant for you to mention something different that the employer already does not know about you on your CV. So how do you mention that other different aspect? Research about, go to the internet, research about what the company is doing. Find out maybe their current initiatives. Probably they have launched a new service, a new app. Maybe they have an event. Sign up for that event, because that way you're going to find out more information about what they are currently doing. And so you can use that information to help you write your cover letter, because now there you're aligning yourself with them. Look at their mission and vision. What are their values? What is their culture like? Work culture like? How do they like to behave? Do they excel more working together as a team? Do they work as individuals? Those are angles that can help you position yourself better. So when you're writing now your cover letter, you're going to now use those pointers and combine them with your story. I always tell people, when you're writing a cover letter, make sure that you're bringing it in form of an angle of a story. Why? Because if you write that every day, dear sir stroke madam, I'm very much interested in applying for this position, blah, blah, blah. We have seen those words so many times. Those words are no longer new and they don't cut it anymore. So if you're going to use those same common words, these AI things are going to end up rejecting you because there's nothing new you're bringing to the table. So how do you differentiate yourself? Use a story. Differentiate yourself by using a story, because your story is unique to you. My story is unique to me because it happened to me. So I can talk about what made me get into recruitment. Maybe previously I was facing rejections and I didn't have anyone to support me. And that is the reason that helped me get into recruitment field, to support others. And I align myself with your organization in this kind of angle. That's how you're able to speak their language. And maybe just another additional bonus that I can also put out, even when it comes to the interview part, is align yourself with the interview. I'll give you an example. Personally, it happened to me. And also it has happened to someone. Someone shared with me a story. This person said he was being interviewed for an IT job in Apple, that software company. And guess what? He got rejected, even as much as his application was good and everything. But they told him, one thing that has made us not to accept you is because you came to the interview in a suit. That's not related to our company culture. Unfortunately, our company culture is casual, smart. So meaning maybe put on a jean or something, but with a t-shirt properly, tuck it in. Yes, but now he came with a full suit. He was rejected. I've also experienced this myself because, and this happens a lot, especially in tech organizations. Even when I got accepted to finally join that IT company that I worked for, Tata Consultancy Services. On day one, I appeared very smart with my suit. When I entered office, everyone looked at me like someone who was misplaced. And I was like, but what's happening? Aren't I not dressed like to fit in? Until one of my Indian colleagues pulled me aside and told me, you know what, Nicole, I know this is your first day, and I know Indian culture might be shocking for you, but this is not how we dress up in office. You need to tone it down. You're too smart for that job. This is not our company culture. Next time, maybe come with, if you want, we can even help you to go and shop for saris so that you wear saris, because this is like our tradition. This is our company culture. And I was like, okay, so this is how it works. I said, okay. I took note of that. And the following time, I started now coming in toned down. So meaning you have to match yourself according to the standards of some of these opportunities. This is how you'll be able to fit in. So those are some of the things that I can throw in there.
Wow.
Related.
Thank you so much, Nicole. But maybe we understand different cultures. But I want to be sure that in Uganda here, if you entered an interview with a t-shirt,
yes,
and a jean, trouble is going to happen to you.
Very true.
But understanding organizational culture is very important, like you highlighted. Thank you so much. Want to get some kind of speed. So for that, we can reserve some good time for questions, because I can see a number of them, like burning questions in the chats here. So I will request you, Nicole, we can apply some speed so that we don't leave any question unattended to. Yes, after that, you have talked about CVs and cover letters. And all this is about positioning ourselves for international opportunities. What role does networking play? And how can someone from Uganda who has not boarded a plane or traveled anywhere build global connections online?
That's a very good question. because even as much as your CV, your cover letter is important, one other aspect that I always tell people is don't rely fully on applying to jobs full time. So if 50% of your job is divided to applying to jobs, what should the other 50% be containing of? Networking. That's where networking comes in. And a lot of the time, so many people also just do not explain the meaning of networking. It's a huge term. Not everyone understands, okay, where do I start from? Personally, I think from my own experience, I would say really become intentional. Start looking out for, if you're in school, join your clubs, whether it is debates, whether it's MDD, whatever club it is, join there, because that is where networking starts from initially. You begin to build genuine connections. If you're out here in the job market, start to look for spaces where you can hang around people of your industry. For example, there are apps now. There's an app called meetup.com. It has got a lot of associations depending on your industry. So if you're a software developer, there's an association for that. If you're a finance person, there's an association for that. So that becomes now places for you to start meeting people within your field, getting to learn how the culture works inside there. It will give you the opportunity to also get to know more about what is happening in your industry out here on the streets. The other website as well, you can check out places like Eventbrite. They normally have conferences. Start attending those kind of conferences, and don't just go with the intention of exchanging contacts. Go with the intention of actually getting to know someone. What does this person do, and how are they also knowing you? How do they know what you do? How are you selling yourself out there? So when you start to do more of these things, that's how you begin to build your confidence slowly by slowly. Because this same networking not only works here in Uganda, but it also works abroad there. And actually out is even worse. Why? Because even if your qualifications are good, but if there's no one to talk for you on your behalf, it's very, very tough for you to get that job. So how do you start to build those networks? Personally, I've made sure that right now I've kind of put myself in a situation whereby even if I travel to any country right now, whether English is the first language or not, I can be able to maneuver. Because I research a lot. I'm always looking for information. So tomorrow, if at all I go, maybe let's say, for example, to Sweden, I already have a networking group that I can join to help me start making friends, to help me start to learn how the system works in that country and navigate the market. If I need to go to Denmark, I already know someone. I already know a group there. Germany, same thing. US, same thing. So even here in Uganda, there are already those spaces that I'm already starting to acquaint myself with, because now I'm becoming intentional about building my networks. So that would be the first thing that I would give someone advice. Look at those networks within yourself, conferences, look at some of these websites, the meetups. That's where you can begin to get some of these intimate spaces, even a place like TPC, because they are anyway helping you to also network with other people. You're meeting different professionals here. So start building those small conversations, be comfortable with them. And as time goes, you get confident, and that's how you'll be able to also maneuver the job market more effectively, apart from you just applying for jobs. Yeah.
Thank you, Nicole. I am happy that you saved it for the best, because in any way it was going to come out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nicole. And our next question now. We've talked about very many things, and we have to join clubs locally, international clubs. Mention things like meetup, event brides, don't go with the intention of just being there networking, but understand someone. But for those without international experience, how can they show that they are group ready? I've not, I've been working here for 6 years, but now I think I need a shift to work globally. how can I show that I am global ready?
Showing that you're global ready is the same thing, is similar to just the previous question that I've already answered regarding networking. When you begin to maybe join some of these different clubs, network with different kinds of people, those are things that you can still add on your CV under the achievements section. There's somewhere where you can also add achievements on your CV to show us the kind of clubs or networks you're part of. That one already is going to show this person is global ready, even if they have not maybe had the opportunity to travel abroad. The other hand, also, you may also find yourself in an organization where you're working with an international team, people from abroad. Even if you're not in that, look for volunteer opportunities. There are so many volunteer opportunities these days that are global but remote. That can also be a good space for you to get there so that you start networking with people outside your country, and that's going to give you the opportunity to start becoming global ready, even if you've never been abroad before. So that's how you can begin to position yourself.
So much, Nicole. Very, very insightful. Now, we understand how to be ready, we understand how to network, positioning, and very many other things that you have highlighted today. Let's talk about skills. Which kind of skills, soft or technical, that are most on demand globally right now?
Soft skills, I would mention things like communication, obviously, because either way, you need to be able to communicate effectively to get you that job. So communication still remains one of those most in-demand skills. Critical thinking, a lot of bosses these days are looking for people. How can you think critically? What innovations can you bring to the table? They're also looking for effective decision makers. How are you able to, to make your decisions at the end of the day when there's a problem? Problem solving is another. Emotional intelligence is also another, because that also builds your leadership aspects a lot. In terms of the technical skills, there are things like project management. That one still remains very much in demand skill up to today. People who are in IT, things like data analysis, digital marketing, AI is also one of those skills that are on demand. I think people who are into maybe things like teaching is also on demand, by the way. Logistics, especially if you supply chain management and you may be using tools like Umoja, those ones are very, very much on demand, or under the under the hard skills right now.
Okay, thank you so much. All of us can agree that we are in the era of AI. Therefore, let's try to use this opportunity to learn more, to research, like she said. Yeah, Nicole, are there platforms or websites you recommend for finding real international jobs? Because I'm being intentional. Why? We've heard of like very many scams. Apply here, jobs in Canada, jobs with the UN, but they end up being scams. Are there platforms or websites you recommend for finding real international jobs?
Mm-hmm. Yes, there are very, very many scam websites, actually, a lot. And I think maybe even before me sharing some of those websites, I would say first look out for the red flags. Anything that is asking you for money obviously becomes a red flag. Any job opportunity that is trying to offer you a job very, very fast, meaning the decision-making process is fast, that is also a scam, a potential scam for you to spot out in. Some of the genuine websites, I would say, especially for people who are between the ages of 18 to 30, look out for ISEC. That's AIESEC. because I've been a member of it. It has a lot of both local and international job opportunities. So that can be one website to help you be able to relocate abroad or build your international experience. ISEC. Let me see if I can type it here. Yeah, ISEC. If you're between 18 to 30, that's the website for you. You can also look at websites like We Work Remotely. Those ones, of course, have got a lot of remote jobs. When it comes to relocation jobs, depending on where you want to relocate, for example, if you want to maybe relocate to Canada, I would mention Job Bank. Job Bank is a very, very good website because it's a government-oriented website and they have a lot of visa sponsorship jobs there. So that is one of the websites you can look at. You can also look at uk.gov.com, UK government, that is for the UK. They also hire both internationally and locally. There are also websites like scholarships.corner, in case if you're maybe looking to study abroad, pursue your studies abroad. It has got a lot of scholarship opportunities for you. And I think personally, I've been able to win some scholarships, not only for me, but for some of the people that I've worked with in the past from that website. So those are some of the few that I can mention over here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nicole. And you gave this like the best. I feel like I know much already from your session. And this brings me to the last question before I start going through your flowers and then questions. I'll make sure I don't skip any flower of yours because they are quite a number. And lastly, what is that one thing someone watching or listening to us right now can start doing this week, starting tomorrow, to begin positioning themselves for global opportunities? Nicole, did I lose you?
No longer here as well. I think she has a network glitch.
I think I lost her. I will ask my leader Samuel to check on her because I don't want to interrupt this call.
She's back.
Nicole, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. When you are aware, I said we are going to have our last question, and then I can go through the questions and your flowers. I'll make sure I don't skip any flower of yours. But lastly, what is that one thing that someone watching or listening to us right now can start doing this week to begin positioning themselves for global opportunities?
Thank you very much for that question and for the opportunity. I think for me, one of the things that I would love to say is I want to encourage someone out there to know that it doesn't matter where you are in your career right now, whether you've moved abroad before or not, whether you've worked globally or not, it is possible for you to achieve anything that you want in this world. For me, my main key would just be intentional. Be intentional and start working on your LinkedIn profile. In case if you don't have one, start working on it, update it. Even if you don't have a lot of experience right now, the little that you have, put it there. Start showing up slowly by slowly. Because one thing that you need to know for a platform like LinkedIn is your global CV. The other CV is the offline CV because it's just been seen by a few people, you, the company, and all of that. And that's why it's very, very restricted, even in terms of number of pages you're supposed to submit. But now LinkedIn does not restrict you on that, on the number of pages, because it's an SEO website. It deals with data. So the more information you give it, that's how it starts pushing your profile to more people that have never seen you before. And that's how you can start becoming visible and getting some of these opportunities. So be very, very intentional. It's not possible to achieve it. You can achieve it. And you can even be able to be in rooms that you've never imagined yourself to be in. Last year, I was invited for a conference in the UK from LinkedIn. Last year, again, I also got invited for another conference in Germany, that AIDS Society thing. And I was in a room full of scientists, doctors. It was not really related to my field, but I was there and I was able to contribute, I think, or two to those science topics. So all that was because of LinkedIn, my intentionality being there. So whether you have that much experience or not, just be intentional with the little that you have. Begin to put in the work. Be very, very, do not give up. Keep pushing, and eventually your efforts will pay off. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nicole. This is really wonderful. Go for LinkedIn, update your profile. I want to say that I positioned myself to become the membership editor of the UMS. The fact is, I had just spent 2 years on the UMS. I didn't know much people. I didn't know many people, but by that time, I think my LinkedIn profile had some kind of, these days they call it a masanyalazi. So I used my LinkedIn profile. Coach Samuel will can testify to this. I used my LinkedIn profile to push my agenda, to push my abilities, and definitely marketing professionals about me. Because where would I meet all those people? You call someone and they ask you where you got their number from. But I was able to share information, share my ambitions, share my aspirations on LinkedIn. Trust me, here I am before you as the membership director. So what he's saying is actually very true. Position yourself, have that LinkedIn profile that is really, really good. This brings us to our next session to go through Nicole's flowers and, of course, questions. I'll make sure I don't skip any. I'll use the time that we have, not skip any. Aha! Biamukama, Kamiyo, okay. So our coach Samuel said this is getting so valuable. Kindly share it. Was inviting more other people. Deborah said this is quite educative. Winnie, Amanda, the first question comes. So what could we consider when writing our CVs? I think she answered this question somewhere. If we all believe, we can skip to the next question. Just a vote of go ahead by 1 or 2, 3 thumbs will take me to the next agenda. I wait. Okay. This is Christopher Runge. I said this is so good information. Thank you, Nicole. Patricia Adong. Thank you, Mrs. Letaru. A quick one. You shared about photos. Is it okay to have a photo on your email when sharing an application? Is it a red flag too?
A photograph on your email?
Yes.
No, it's not a red flag.
Okay. Kobe Emmanuel says, extremely educative. Judith Nantumi, a good day, Nicole. Thanks for the insights. Really helpful. I have a question. Do you discourage using passport passport-sized photos on CVs? I think you answered this somewhere, depending on the market where you are applying. Be cautious of the market. If you're applying in Europe, make sure you have that photograph. If you have applying in Canada or USA, don't put it. Don't put it. She actually said someone may be looking for a brown person. Then here you apply and you are gifted by nature. Your color is so bold, and then they reject you. Uh, uh, Francis Otiki, thank you for the inspiration words. Tumukunde Province, thank you for the inspiration. All these are your flowers, Nicole. Brenda Kero, thank you for the good inspirations. Judith Nantumi, so impactful. Makandi Steven, it's a wonderful session. It is indeed insightful and valuable. Winnie Amanda, thanks very much. I have learned a lot just today. So grateful, dear Nicole. Amulo Beatrice. Hey, Nicole, thank you so much. I applied for the brand manager job in any company. I went through all the interviews and finally to the oral interview, but I was hired for this post. There were no clear explanations from the HR, but also I remember I was asked for a salary expectation. Could it have been the cause? Kindly advise.
Okay, so the person is asking, she was rejected because of the salary expectation, is it?
They went through the interviews up to the orals, but they were rejected. But they remember that they were asked a question about salary expectation. So they are just wondering, not sure, of course, not sure of the cause, but could it have been the cause?
Well, in that situation, it's difficult to like really say exactly what could have been the issue for the rejection. But again, also I think maybe something that I can touch on when it comes to salary is also one of the things that can end up making you lose out on that job, basing on also how you're tackling it. So I think for me also, basing out of personal experience, I would encourage someone before you even attempt anything related to salary, do your research and first find out the job market standards. How much do they pay? How much do people in that position normally earn? So that it gives you a clear range or something for you to mention. And even also to add on to salary still, I would strongly advise someone not to mention your answer in form of a range. Like, don't box yourself maybe to say between 4 to 5M. Don't do that. Why? Because again, when you do that, they will make sure to squeeze you only within that box or lower. So you might find that maybe their budget was 7M, but now because you fixed yourself in that box, you end up remaining in that box or lower. So I would advise focus on one figure, but maybe you can say from 4M or 5M onwards and above. So that way, if you're to negotiate, you can both now come to a common agreement that works for you both. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. Beatrice, I hope that was answered. Mustafa Serufambi, thank you, Nicole, for the insight. What was your experience working remotely? How easy or challenging is it while in domestic environment?
I think for me, one of the most one of the jobs that I worked remotely actually was Redeem Tech. It's an organization based in Denmark, but I was working for them remotely here in Uganda, and also some other one based in Canada that I was also working for them remotely here in Uganda. And initially, when I was starting also to explore the option of working remotely, one of the things that was difficult for me that time to adjust to was the time zones, because especially like the one in Canada, we are obviously of the opposite time zones. So meaning if it's morning here, it's night the other side, almost similar to US. So in the beginning, it was quite tough for me to adjust myself to that time frame. So you have to be ready for that, depending on the organization that you're working for. So I would have my Monday meetings at 11 p.m. when I'm really tired and exhausted. Now for them, it was like 10 a.m. in the morning. So you kind of had to adjust to that. The other thing that I would also mention, in the beginning, it was very difficult for me to get used to the different accents, because when I was working again for this Canadian organization, my boss was too much of French. And sometimes I couldn't really understand the accent a bit. The other one in Denmark, my boss was from Bangladesh, so he had a bit of an Indian accent. So it kind of stretched me to also start getting used to these different accents, because now you're working with different people from different parts of the world. And so some of them may understand you, others may not understand you. So you just have to ensure that, you kind of start paying attention and get acquainted to those different accents, because you're going to be dealing with them if you're working remotely. And I think the other thing also is to familiarize yourself with technology, because that's going to be, again, the common factor that's going to connect you and them. So some of them are going to introduce you to different technologies, and they may not have enough time to train you. So meaning you have to also be fast to catch up and meet up with the standards of those technologies for you to be able to manage your work remotely with them. So yeah, those are some of the things I can advise anyone to keep in mind.
Okay, thank you so much, Nicole. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Transformational Professionals Club. If you want to join this club, be part of the learning, growing community, you can actually text this number right now, 0703 803 255. Text this number right now, you receive a link and you will join the TPC club. Make it a point to have something memorable, have something as to be testimony in the next coming days. You never know how your life is going to turn out when you join TPC.
Kindly repeat the number.
0703 803 255. I repeat once again, 0703 803 255. Text that number right now and you get the link. Nicole, someone is asking, must someone upload their certificates on LinkedIn or it doesn't matter?
Uploading your certificates on LinkedIn really doesn't matter. However, I would still advise someone to upload them. Why? Because as I had mentioned earlier, that LinkedIn deals with data. The more data you give it, the more it helps your profile to be seen in the search algorithm. I'll give you an instance. For example, there are a lot of recruiters out there who are always headhunting for people on LinkedIn. Personally, I also do it myself, and I've been one of them. And sometimes some of the keywords that they are going to use might be coming from that certificate that you have. So maybe you have a certificate in project management, and maybe you were specializing in, I don't know, PMP, whatever it is. So if I'm looking for someone with that skill and I type there PMP, your profile is most likely to appear in my search. Why? Because you've uploaded a certificate with that keyword. So that's how I'll find you. That's how you'll come up in my search. But if you don't upload it, then it means there's no way you're going to appear in my search. Why? Because you don't have that keyword. So any opportunities you have, big or small, keep updating them on your LinkedIn profile, because they push you further in the algorithm to be found for opportunities.
Okay, thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole, for the insights on the profile issue. Advice on the issue of putting an essay that reads, you have this common word, open to work. How is it perceived by
Okay.
recruiters?
Okay, open to work, there are actually two types of open to work. Whenever you're updating your profile, there's that open to work whereby it can be seen by everyone with that green kind of frame. And then there's the normal open to work where it does not really show that you're open to work, but behind the scenes, someone will still know that you're open to work. So in that scenario, if let's say, for example, you're comfortable, everyone knowing that you're open to work, then go ahead with the green frame, because that one will show your profile not only to recruiters, but everyone out there, like Kayola. Everyone will get to know that you're looking for a job. But if, let's say, you're currently working somewhere and maybe you're looking for a job and you don't want your boss to know that you want to leave, but you're looking for a job behind the scenes, then I would advise you go for the other option of the open to work that does not come with that green frame to show open to work. So that way, when you go with that option, it will mostly notify recruiters majorly that you're open to work, you're looking for work. And so those are the ones who can easily be able to reach out to you. So it depends on your situation.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope that is clear, Stephen. Melinda David is following to the dot. Deborah, I need to have studied ICT at this rate. Josephine Naiga, beautiful sharing, quite a lot to learn. Mustafa Selfambi, thank you, Nicole. Can explain how a cover letter would differ in content from a CV? I think she highlighted this. If you are on the call, it was answered clearly. If I can remember something, she said, let your cover letter be, tell a story on your cover letter, be different and tell a story that will make you different from other applicants. Yeah, and make you unique actually. Ayasiga Joyce, thank you, Nicole. You are sharing very insightful information.
And I think maybe if I can add something on top of that, if you can allow me maybe to add something small on top of that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Apart from you have a letter, these days there's something that I created for my clients, the people that I work with. It's called a career achievements guide. It's almost similar to a portfolio, a mini portfolio, in a sense that apart from you just having the CV, your LinkedIn profile, cover letter, ensure to also have a portfolio mini version of your experience. Now, the difference with it is that it only focuses specifically on only the main pain points that that job is currently going through. And it showcases you as the right person for it, because in that portfolio, you're going to put your images and your success stories of how you've resolved a similar problem that this company is facing in the past. So when someone sees that, they'll be like, oh, okay, this one has really gone an extra mile, like even beyond just the normal cover letter, the everyday CV we are used to. This is something different that directly speaks to us. So if anyone is interested, I can probably share it later on, maybe in the group, for people to have a glimpse of it, and you can create your own version, because again, these days, a lot of companies don't just want you to tell but show. So even as much as you have those words, CV, cover letter, LinkedIn profile, that are going to speak up for you, but you have that mini version of you that is going to showcase what exactly you're telling them you're bringing to the table to show that you're the right. When you have that, that also helps you stand out from the rest.
Thank you, Nicole. Coach Samuel says, thank you, Nicole, for sharing about the importance of networking. As I said, TPC is a growing global community. If you're not part of this group of TPC, join our free groups. There's a link here in the chats. Check out in the chats. Yeah, you can also join the group from there. Casemiro Jida says, thank you, Nicole. I'm learning. Kindly highlight on verification on LinkedIn by persona.
Verifying your LinkedIn profile is very, very important because it helps you basically to just be able to ensure that your profile is not a scam. So a lot of the times, LinkedIn, I think, is now using that application called Persona to help you be able to verify it. And it doesn't really take a long time. So just go ahead and verify, because it's meant to prove that your profile is actually legit and it's not really a scam. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
On that, at times it will need a passport. And what if I don't have the passport?
If you don't have a passport, I think it also has maybe the option of you using your identity card. So you can use that as well to help you be able to verify your profile.
Actually, it does have option for a national identity card, but it
Yeah.
must be valid. Must be valid.
Yeah.
Makande Steven, I recently applied for international student recruitment program for some global company. I was assessed and stopped on the second level of the process online, and I was sent a strength report showing which areas stood out in me based on how I answered the questions. I'm still wondering how strengths are weighed based on the logical and common sense questions asked. How can someone improve the strength turned out to a level required by such recruiters?
Okay. Can you just read for me that question again? There are some parts I didn't understand.
I can repeat the whole statement. I recently applied for an international student recruitment program for some global company. I was assessed and stopped on the second level of the process online, and I was sent this message: strength report showing which areas stood out in me based on how I answered the questions. I'm still wondering how strengths are weighed based on the logical or common sense questions asked. How can someone improve the strength to stand out to a level required by such recruiters?
Okay, that's a good question. The fact that even you've been given such a feedback, first of all, is already good. Like, it's already a huge plus for you to utilize to improve on your strengths for the next opportunity. Because again, a lot of these international organizations, unfortunately, one big major challenge that they have is most of the times when they reject you, most of them will not even give you a response as to why you were rejected. They just go ahead and send that automatic email, oh, we regret to inform you, you did not make it, blah, 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 and that's it. They don't go into details in giving you feedback. But if that one has given you at least that bit of assessment, then that one gives you somewhere to begin from, and at least it helps you know, okay, this is where I went wrong. So let me now focus on these things that I don't know more of in order to help me be better for the next one. The other thing that I would also say is that when you're also applying for a job and maybe you're even doing the interview, and during the interview they get to ask you a particular question that you're not aware of or you're not good at, take note of it. Whether you pass that interview or not, ensure that you familiarize yourself with that skill or that particular skill that they asked you and you are not aware of, and then now start applying to more of those type of jobs, similar roles, because now when you do that, you become more targeted, and that means you'll have a higher chance of finally being accepted for that kind of similar job, compared to when again you're all over the place, you're general, you're all over the place. It becomes hard for you to even keep being consistent in terms of knowing, okay, what exactly do this type of jobs that I'm interested in actually want. So when you start to know the kind of jobs that you want, you'll pay attention to their job descriptions and what they ask for, and that's how you start practicing your strengths around them to become better for you to stand out.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Amro says, we have these agencies that come to come in requesting for payment to help in revamping a CV, or even help connect with employers. How effective and authentic are these agencies? Most of them are actually on LinkedIn.
I think for the agency, it depends. It depends. And honestly, if at all you want to use an agent, I would advise maybe if let me say, for example, you want to work abroad, then you rather focus on recruitment agencies. There are some particular agencies, for example, I will mention there are some few that I know. There's Manpower. There's another agency called Xerox. I think it's based in Canada. Those ones normally have recruiters who hire people outside their country. So when you submit your application there and it's good and all of that, then the recruiter can connect with you and get to support you on how best your CV can stand out from the crowd on behalf of all the other candidates for you to get that position with the client. And most of the times, those agencies don't charge you any money because they are being paid by these organizations. So any other agency that is asking you money in between and all of that, I would maybe say first do your research properly and find out, are they authentic? Have they been able to help other people succeed before you throw in your money just like that? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Vanessa sounded like me because I'm a son of a teacher. She said, thank you so much, Madam Nicole Letaru. Beverly Margaret have reached okay. Okay, this is feedback. Actually, Coach Samuel Iwanda says he can testify my journey. Okay, can check out the message on the chat. Murunji Naomi, thank you so much, Nicole, for the beautiful insights. I have really learned a lot. Kindly pardon on the group so you can follow that provide global opportunities. I think if I noted some here, I can say we had ISEC, 18 to 30, we have ISEC, we have Work Remotely, we have Job Bank in Canada for Canada jobs, we have UK.gov, then we have scholarships.corner. I hope that answered you, Naomi. David, thanks for the presentation. I have learned something new. Is it possible to share a recording of this session? Just join the group, you get all the updates. Priscilla, thank you so much for the insightful session. Ms. Nicole, do you do mentorship? If yes, how does one become a mentee?
I think that one, the person can reach out. Yes, I do mentorship. I'm already in the group, so okay, anyway, if you need to connect with me, of course, on social media, I'm more active on LinkedIn, so you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Nicole Letaru. You'll find me over there. But I'm also as well in the TPC group, so if you ask for me there, I can also respond to you and we can get to talk.
Okay. Thank you so much. Our time is running so fast. Behind every insightful discussion or insightful club, there's always that visionary leader, the good father. I want to take this opportunity to recognize and thank Samuel Ibanda. I have known Samuel right away from Facebook. He had a group called Bucks, and it was still around this same thing of connecting people, making people learn, This has been his dream from, I think, from the time he graduated from university. I want to thank you so much. Samuel is a finance and tax specialist, CPA, and a professional coach. He focuses on career growth, personal finance, and business development. So if you want to grow when it comes to personal finance, business development, career growth, because like, for example, this session is part of career growth. Samuel, if you is the right person you should have in your circles. When you go to LinkedIn, search for Coach Samuel Ibanda, connect with him. He's a humble man. He always find time for you that you can share one or two things. And also when you go to LinkedIn, don't forget to search for Transformational Professionals Club. I am going to do the count because we want to see if we did impact, if this session had impact. Right now I have recorded the number of followers that we have, and I will do a count after some time to see if you actually serious about this thing. You know, sometimes Nicole, there's a session where you hit the points and then someone is saying yeah, and then after this call, someone diverts. But I will start counting and see if we are really serious about this call. Thank you so much, Nicole, and thank you so much, our coach Samuel. Even I want to take this opportunity to ask Coach Samuel if you can give us one or two words, just briefly, because maybe people just want to hear your voice. That can be enough as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. James Asaba, for the wonderful moderation. I have loved the whole session and you've done as well. And for Nicole as well, for coming through. My first time meeting Nicole was at the last TPC masterclass. And whenever we organize some of these sessions or even networking events, my mind is looking around which people are resourceful and which people can add value to the community. And when I saw what Nicole shares, and she shared about her international experience, and I was like, why not have Nicole come through and share with us whatever she does? And I want to say that I've been wowed. Thank you so much, Nicole. You've done us great. The presentation was really crystal clear. And, you know, you can tell somebody who is sharing from a practical and somebody who has gone to AI and found a few things to come and share with you. Nicole has shared things that are practical and really relate to her as a person, as a recruiter, and she has really poured herself in sharing all those comments. And like she has said, please follow her on LinkedIn and make sure that you get to connect whatever she does. And thank you so much, James, as well, Asaba. Like you said, our journey comes from a long period of time. And one of the things I would say that like Nicole has shared, keeping yourself in networking, in communities, and in making sure that you're near people who growing every day. I think that really aspires, like helps you continuously grow. So to everyone who has joined through the call, we really appreciate you. We appreciate your time coming through and listening. To all our members, our principal members, and all the coordination team led by Miss Charity. We really thank you so much for always bringing these sessions. And we know that together we can learn, and it's a learning journey. This session has been recorded on YouTube, and we have quite a number of other sessions that have been recorded, and we have quite a number of sessions that are lined up for your learning. One of my prayers is that whatever we've learned, we'll put to practice. And at the end of the day, as TPC, we help you to basically connect, learn. We do not just want to come here and learn. We need to be able to see growth. And at the end of the day, we should be able to earn. You need to be able to tap into opportunities abroad, because opportunities abroad give you a good amount of money. And at the end of the day, we can also be remote workers and do quite a number of things even with that process. So thank you so much, James, for the opportunity to just share a word. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Samuel. Thank you so much, Samuel. Before I ask Nicole to share her parting shots, I want to give someone a minute of fame. I'm going to choose randomly from our guests, our people on call here. If I pick your name, just tell us who you are, what you do, just one person. I'm going to just give one person that opportunity, how you found the session, whether you consider TPC as a community where you belong. Wow, I will toss, and then I will go to Rita Kichonjo. Rita, are you there? One last call, and I'll pick someone else. Rita? And that is a missed opportunity. I'll call, let me see who else comes. Brenda Akelo. Are you guys listening?
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Everyone.
Brenda
Thank you.
Akelo, yes.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Coach Samuel, for this opportunity. I would say I joined the TPT just this month. Last month. It's really been a great opportunity for me to learn, to connect, and today's session has really awakened me the more to look into the LinkedIn. I would say had not been putting so much.
Brenda, you're solo?
I would say today's opportunity was an awakening opportunity for me. And I would say I'm so grateful to Nicole for opening up, because it's not easy for someone to open up and share from the heart and share, like give it fully. So I am Akelo Brenda, certified solution focused coach with Ericsson International, currently based in Bulu. Though have not been practicing so much, I'm more engaged with the youth, doing mindset change, community training, and self-development. Yeah, thank you so much. I am honored to be part of the TCC family. I look forward to more growth. Thank you.
Okay, we are so happy that you found this session insightful. Nicole, thank you so much. Nicole, can you hear me? Thank you so much for sparing your time. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. Thank you so much. It has been so practical. That is what I love about it. Practical. You know, you tell someone to do ABCD to get ABCD. That is very good of you. Thank you so much, Nicole. I want to take this opportunity to allow you give your last remarks as we conclude.
I think my last remarks as well is also just to appreciate and give you the flowers again, TPC community. Forgive my voice. I'm actually not feeling well. When you reached out to me, James, I didn't even think I would be able to manage to make it for today's session. But either way, so sorry for that. Yeah, but either way, I'm still so grateful for being able to turn up. And I'm also grateful, Coach Sam, for the amazing work that you're doing over here, changing people's lives. You know, it takes a nation to build a nation, and the fact that you're equipping other change makers around you is something so commendable. So I really applaud you and the entire team. James, thank you for the amazing work and for making me feel comfortable, because this feels like another home away from home. So I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for everyone that has come up and showed up. And my last word of advice is, whatever it is that you want to achieve, just know that your dreams are valid. It's possible for you to get them. Even a person like me who didn't know how to speak English, I came to Uganda all the way from Kenya, but I've been able to make it and move to so many different parts of the world, people getting to hear my story, that means the same thing can also happen to you as well. You just need to believe yourself, be intentional, start taking those small steps, whether it's updating your resume, updating your LinkedIn profile, and you will definitely make it. Thank you so much once again.
Okay, thank you so much, Nicole. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to quote a scripture from the Bible. It says, seek one thing, seek wisdom, because wisdom is the principal thing. You need wisdom, search for wisdom in every possible way, search for wisdom. Attend such sessions, go to LinkedIn, follow people who are sharing insightful information, search, use AI to build yourself. Don't be the part of the people that are biased about the AI. Use AI to improve yourself and become a better person. Among all things and top of everything, search knowledge. I have not heard of anyone admitted because they have too much knowledge. So search knowledge. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience. Until next time, just follow our social media platforms. Follow Samuel on LinkedIn, Coach Samuel Ibanda, Nicole, Sarah James on LinkedIn, and anyone you can connect with Charity Nyoshuti, just for you to be in the community to get more information about TPC. Thank you so much, and until next time, bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, James. Thank you, Nicole. It was a great one. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night, too.
Hello. Good night, everybody. Thank you for the
David.
session.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye, Johnson. Thank you.
Welcome.